Welcome back to the Troubleshooting Life podcast. I'm your host, Craig Poston, with my co-host, Jay Peters, where we talk about various topics, sharing our experiences on life and finance. What's going on, man?
What's going on?
Hey, it's another day.
Another day
to do a podcast.
Yeah.
It's something I enjoy.
Hell yeah. No doubt.
Look forward to this every weekend.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So do I.
Yeah,
man. I know we were talking about it like this past week, how you met your goal for the month at least.
Yeah, I did. I actually I think it was by accident though.
Yeah,
because when I called, it was a lady that she was at a duty station before with me, and I saw on Facebook that she was doing real estate, and I was like, okay, I do need a realtor, so I need to start building up my contact list. Come to find out, no, she only does this to invest. So it just gives her access to the MLS and other people who are investors, so she can get into the game. So that's pretty much. So I was like, okay, now I kind of killed two birds with one stone. She is a real estate agent, but she's also an investor. And on top of that, she was giving me a little bit of advice, so mentor me, and she was just telling me make sure I call back, keep in contact. She was telling about a certain thing to look up, so I kind of just get in the game and apply that the way other investors are. Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So no, I'm still working on the getting this book read, and that's my fault though. I should never let anything get in the way of my goals. And so I'm gonna probably do a little bit of cramming where I read more this weekend, and then and probably the next weekend too. So,
but reality is, things do get in the way, right?
Yeah.
So,
That's I mean, that's life. That is life.
Yeah. But like, I was just watching something like not too long ago, like today, that if you wanted to write a book, right, then start by something very simple, just write like 100 words a day, right? It doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be exact, but that. So the habit of just writing 100 words a day is definitely better than writing 0, but at least it gets you started, right? And you don't have to stick with just 100 words, right? Or you don't even start with that. You could start with, say, 50 words or 20, right? But each little habit will kind of start building, and like it's kind of like starting a rut, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're walking in a specific path continuously, you kind of build a rut, right? And that's what habits are, right? The habit builds the rut, whether you want to build it or not, right? So that includes bad habits and good habits, right? So, but starting that rut of doing the words or writing however many words a day will kind of slowly grow into something bigger.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. That's one of the things I'm trying to get in the groove of doing more, is creating habits, learning how to create habits. But then the other thing is, like, once you create the habit, how can I stick with it to the point where, like you said, it's that rut where now I can't get out of it. I'm still there in those grooves where I'm gonna just keep going. It's like another one I was trying to do was I had to do at least 10 sit-ups every night, before bed. Didn't matter if I was going to do them in the morning. Didn't matter if I was going to work out, whatever. Still had to do 10 sit-ups regardless. And that one, I think that one got knocked off because of COVID. That's probably why I stopped doing it. Because I just like, you know what? I'm just going to relax and try to, heal up or whatever, not be sick anymore. So I didn't work out, because I even mentioned it to my doctor about working out, and he was just like, take a break. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically what I did. And I think that got me out of the groove of doing that every night. Because I wanted to do that because it's like making your muscles and making your abs not forget, right? Because as soon as they start to forget, that's when fat creeps in,
Right. It's like in the flab. Instead of the six pack, you get the six flab.
Yeah. Or a little party ball, you know what I'm saying? I hadn't made it to a keg yet, so
there you go, keg. Well, I know, because it's true, right? But like what I heard is, when you're trying to build good habits, a way to not to stop and start type of thing is that don't let 2 days go by without performing that action or that habit, right? So if it's working out, or if it's just doing sit-ups before you go to sleep, then don't let 2 days pass without you doing it, so you can at least keep that rhythm going. And things happen, right? Like you said, life happens. You can have those little hiccups, and don't beat yourself up for those little hiccups, because then those can like cause more and more days to go by. But just know that you can get back up on the horse and continue the ride.
So your goals, what's been happening with them, man?
Oh, they've been coming to shambles. But no, No, so I actually haven't put an offer on a property in the past week, just because nothing really has like popped on recently that I'm really want to get. But yeah, no, still working. I actually had to swap realtors, and the reason why is because so my real estate agent, who's also an investor, she is moving to another company, and she's actually going away from real estate and kind of going towards like software for real estate type of
Oh,
thing.
okay.
But she's I just got introduced to another realtor in the same brokerage who also works with investors. So I'm going to be meeting with her on Tuesday, hopefully to get back into the strategy, kind of start going through more properties and hopefully pick one up soon. Because March is actually already ending, so my quarterly goal is all messed up. My monthly goal is all messed up. So everything has to shift. And soon, I'm actually going to go over my goals, because I try to do this every quarter, or I just started this. Is that every quarter for my goals is that I try to readjust them, right? So I see what my overall goal is, right, for life or for the long term, and see what those quarterly goals were that I was using to work towards it, and see where I can adjust, right? So for example, if I wasn't doing something that I should have. So one of my goals was like to play the harmonica. I have not picked up that harmonica at all this entire time. So, and it's literally right here, right next to me, and I have yet to pick it up. Right. So, and like another way to kind of combat that is to batch habits or stack habits. Right. So if you know you're doing something in a similar area or that's very similar in function, right, then you can kind of stack them on top of each other. For example, like if you need to cook a meal and you need to do your laundry, those two things, like you don't have to be doing them both actively at the same time. Right. So you can start a load and then you can go cook some food. And then when you're done with your food, you can fold your clothes. Right. But it kind of helps you get into that groove of being able, and it's not necessarily multitasking, right? Because you are actually only doing one task at a time, but it just helps you kind of put things together. So you're taking less time, and it kind of gets you into multiple habits around the same time.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll get into our topic of this week.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Such a long topic here. You can't drive by only looking at the rear view mirror. All right. Yeah. So this is your title. So, or topic. So I'm gonna let you start off with, your ideal of what this is talking about.
Yeah. So I think it's just because, so for me personally, I typically think of the future, right? I typically don't like to go into my past and there's nothing, I'm not saying there's anything incredibly wrong with my past, right? But I typically go towards the future, right? So anytime, like if you talk to me or if anyone talks to me, I'm talking about, money, right? I'm talking about real estate. I'm talking about finances. I'm talking about anything. But if you like kind of dig it out of me, I'll talk about why I'm doing that, right? So I'll say that it's like I said, I don't have kids, right? But I want to build something for my future kids, right? But it's not even just about them. It's about, my grandkids. It's about my great grandkids. It's about the legacy that I'm trying to set up. So in my opinion, it's very foreign to me, or just contradictory of me when people just talk about the past, right? They're like, oh yeah, but my dad did this and XYZ, or I was doing this in high school and I'm still doing that. But it just really confuses me or contradicts what my belief is, to where I just stopped wanting to be around those people, right? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with looking into your past and learning from your past. Your past is there for you to learn from mistakes, surprises, accidents, whatever it is. But I choose to learn from it, but don't focus on it, right? So like the saying of like the title is that you can't drive by only looking in the rear view mirror is a fact, right? I can't drive a car if I'm only looking in the rear view mirror. Not saying that the rear view mirror is not there, right? Not saying that and I think in Texas a rear view mirror is required, right? So you're always gonna have your past. You're always gonna have something to look behind, right? But your focus should be the future and should be what you're moving towards, right? Because if you're moving towards your past, then what are you actually learning? What are you actually gaining from that?
Yeah, stand in the present or headed towards the future. Yeah. But just that rear view is just so you can glance, kind of get a hey, I remember this. Because that was one of the things that I was thinking about, right? So I might think about the past, kind of like it humbles me, right? It kind of like makes me remember that, okay, you did all of this to get here, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and honestly, I'm still not there where I want to be, but it is something to remind me that I am making a forward motion. I am not sitting stagnant. So by looking in the past for me is just so I can see that, right? And then also it puts me in the shoes of some other people, right? So like if a person's not doing good, I remember the times when I wasn't doing good, and I remember what I had to do to get out of it. So then that's where how I see looking in the rearview mirror is like that, where you're taking a glimpse of it. You're not staying there. You're in a glimpse, so you can remember a few things. And it also keeps you with that, like I said, that forward motion. You're like, nope, I'm still going to keep going. I remember that. That felt bad. Let me, nope, I'm gonna keep going. So yeah, that's how I kind of saw that topic, and that's why I had to think about it for a second and remember, like you said, only looking at that title, like only looking in the rearview mirror, you can't make it. But if you are glancing in that rearview mirror, just to maybe humble yourself, or maybe to like I said, put yourself in the shoes of somebody else, or if you're using it, you could use it as a marker, right? Like you can use it as like, okay, that was me, or a reference point. That's the word I really want to use, a reference point. You were there at that time, but you're not there anymore.
No, I fully agree. And I think a lot of people, they like you said, they live in the past, or they sit in the past, right? So much that it kind of almost cripples them.
Yeah.
Right. And whether that's a good thing that happened to them or a bad thing, right? So say if, they were the football star, or they were the popular person, or they were the genius in like say high school or college, whatever that is, they reminisce about that. So that's what they kind of make their life about, right? That's what they only share, right? But you could never tell what they actually do now, or if they're actually providing any value now, but they're just trying to kind of eat off of what they did in the past.
Yeah, but yeah, that's one of the things that, like you said, okay, you can't build that future, right? If you're constantly living in the past. So and that was one of the thoughts I had also when I read your title. Sorry. Yeah, and so let's see, trying to hit on some of the more of the other topics we had inside of this one, inside of the title.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here drawing a blank here. And if all we talk about the past, because that's what you were saying, right? There is no room for the future.
Yeah. And I heard that from a different podcast, but it's true, right? If you and I, like, say, we could have met high school, college, whenever it is. If you and I are only talking about those moments, right, then there's obviously no room for us to go to the future, right, yeah. or towards our futures, right? So we could have had great times, right, but I can't eat off those great times. Yeah. Like I'm not trying to be disrespectful to that person, and I definitely enjoyed those times, but it's not about those times. I can't live in those times. Like the things that I want aren't in the past; they're going to be in the future. That's what I'm working towards. So why would I now continue to associate with someone that is only focusing on the past?
Well, no, I mean you wouldn't, right? You wouldn't want to be around that, because if you're a forward moving person, having someone that's sitting back there in the past, always going like, "Hey, yeah, you remember that time?" Now, if they're doing it just like, oh, you're drinking, and they just to, strike up conversation, and like you're laughing and joking or whatever, I think that's good. But like if they're doing it to the point of like they want you to be back there again, nah, that's not what you're about. You know what I'm saying? You should always be about the future. You should be about, if you are in the present is always looking forward to the next step, step in life. Your past, you don't have to forget it. Your past is you, but it's only a part of you. And now you're starting to create a new you as you keep going. So, yeah. And also I thought about that. It was like relationship wise, right? Even though relationships could be, a vast majority of things, right? Business relationships, you can have, just friendships itself is a relationship. You got work relationship, but like, personal relationships that, or in a sense, intimate relationship, you're, holding a grudge or holding something from the past instead of moving forward. I know, right? So, it could, cause damage to their relationship, and regardless in any relationship, right? Because it's either one of those things, right? Either we need to go separate ways or we need to work it out. Yeah. So, one of those things of like constantly looking into the past and never looking towards the future could cause, a lot of damage.
Yeah, no, I agree. And sometimes like you said, in relationships, you can't blame the person that you're currently with for things that maybe even they did in the past, right? And I remember I had a conversation with my parents once upon a time, and my mom brought up something when I was like, I think 19, right?
Yeah.
And I told her, I was like, you're gonna bring up something when I did when I was 19? I was like, that's an incredibly long time ago, right? But
Yeah.
and I don't know if you can really like. I'm not saying you can't blame me. Of course you can blame me. It was my fault. It was something I did, so I'm gonna definitely eat that. But I'm trying to make amends for that, or I'm not that person anymore, right?
Yeah.
So why even bring something like that up, right? I've
Allow
never
you
even
to grow, right?
yeah. So like they wouldn't give me the benefit of the doubt of being the new person, right? But they still saw me as that younger person, or the one that was making mistakes or making weird or dumb decisions.
Oh yeah, I mean, I mean, I think that's just parents in general. They're gonna always remember stuff because it keeps going as you get older. They always bring up something. Like when I go see my family, it's the same thing. They'll remind me of stuff of the past. But like I said, as you get older, you are growing no matter what. You hardly stay the same. The only way someone stays the same is because that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
Because every day that you're moving forward, every day that you're living, you're going to encounter a new thing. So like I think that the only way that you'll stay that way, you have to be sitting still in the same house, next to the same people always. So parents do that. I'll just say that. Hopefully I won't do that to my kids, even though I already said I'm gonna do some petty stuff. Like when they get older, I'm gonna do all the stuff they were doing, all the stuff they were breaking. I'm gonna let me mark on your seats. let me sit in the back and whine about because you won't turn the music where I want it.
Like, oh yeah, those are newly painted walls. Oh, okay. I'll just mark all over that.
Exactly. Go through that. You'll go visit them at their home and turn on all the lights.
Yeah. Turn on all the lights.
Go wash your hands and then just leave the water running. Stuff kids do.
Just mess with their landscape, right? If they got some like rocks somewhere, just like throw them somewhere else.
Yeah. Like my son right now, he's the dog dug the hole. But he's digging the hole. He's digging the hole deeper. Like, what?
The dog started this. I'm going to continue.
Yeah. So So it's kind of I know what you're saying though. I mean, but as you grow, they'll realize that you're different, and I think that was something my dad realized too, that I was a different person, especially after the military, because he can tell. He even saw me like, I think I was sitting and reading a book, and I forgot what he said I was doing, or calling me a scholar or something like that. I don't know. It was something. Well, because I was like up early in the morning just reading. But that was the new person that I was becoming. I wanted to be a reader. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to know about wealth. I wanted to create a different future, So in a sense, I knew what I had to do. And that's why I was grateful to go to Germany, where you kind of had to separate. So, and it's not that I didn't talk to him. I talked to him on the phone, or FaceTime with him. But because you don't have that, the same people around you all the time, it allows you to grow in the direction that you wanted to grow in.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the military is like, and I'm pretty sure we said it before, is that the military, it makes sure you're not comfortable all the time, right? So because in the military, you have to PCS, you have to move around, however so often, right? But it does put you into different environments, different situations. So you are, like you said, forced to grow out of those situations.
Yeah. I don't know if that was what you were going to make amends with your past.
Yeah. Well, so like, and it wasn't really just that, but you can't, other than just living in the past, you can't keep blaming other people for the past, right? And what I tell people is that it's not your fault for being in a bad situation, right? But it is your fault if you stay in a bad situation.
Yeah.
Right. Because for whatever happened, right, it doesn't necessarily have to be your fault that you got into a situation, right? It's not your fault that, say, your parents divorced. It doesn't have to be your fault that your car broke down, whatever it is, right? But you can't live in that specific moment. Like, you can't continue to make excuses for your life on why you're not moving forward on what happened in the past.
Yeah, no, it's all true, because you're making amends with your past. That might be more of a psychological thing, trying to understand that, what happened in the past. You may have been that person in the past, but that's not you now. And like you said, some people won't let you forget it. But the thing is, if you made amends with your past, that means you reconcile that old person, became this new person. And that new person is you now. So and if you want to, make another person, and that's why I think everyone grows in versions, right? As you get older, a new version is being formed. So making amends with that past, that is is one of those things that it's psychological, that you have to let that go so you can move forward, get to the next step, do something else, and being with new people, So I think that was a good one to hit on too, about making amends with the past.
Yeah. No, and going back to you saying being with new people, I think that, like you said as well, that people won't let you forget. Yeah. Right? Because you are hanging out with those same people when you were in that bad situation or not as good situation, right? And you're letting them remind you of who you were at the time. Yeah. So you'll start bringing up the stories. And that's why I was saying, like, if the people you're talking to are only bringing up that past or only bringing up the past you, then there's obviously not a future with them, right? Because they're not talking about that future with you, right? So if they're not saying, hey, like, for example, if you're into getting real estate, right? But all they're talking about is, those times you got drunk in the city and we're partying it up all night, right? Then there's obviously a disconnect from what you see about yourself and what they see about you.
Yeah. No, that's a true statement. Because I would say that, I am definitely a different person. And it's times that you have to like go through and or I'm speaking that for myself, that I have to go through and have to just, hey, that was the past, that you're somebody new. You're in a new relationship. You've started a new career. You're doing something totally different. So that's why I think that's a good one. That was a good one to hit.
Yeah, because I don't really hang out with anyone from my past, and because like at a young age I realized that they didn't want the same things I did. Yeah. Right. And I was okay with cutting them off. Now, I know I'm not saying that's an easy thing to do, right? Because you do have that relationship, you do have that past with them, but you kind of have to weigh what's more important. Is it important to keep those people that are going to relish the past, or is it more important to kind of, I'm not saying cut them like cold turkey, but don't spend as much time with them and don't, put as much energy towards them, focus on what you want to focus on, not what they're reeling you back into.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's one of those decisions you have to make. You have to, and that's one of those things, as you get older, you learn how to pick your friends a little bit better. And you can understand when someone is trying to drag you back to the past. I don't really, like I said, I don't have that much anymore. One, I've definitely separated a lot, and it's probably more because of the military, because you have to go different places. So I have my friends on Facebook, like if I want to wish them a happy birthday or, say what's up, how you doing? And honestly, I mean, life, as we were talking about earlier, it gets in the way. So it gets kind of hard to even allow people to, from the past, creep in and try to, snatch you back. Yeah. Which, again, if you have those type of people in your life, you should be trying to run anyway. Everyone should accept, I won't say that. I'm sorry. No one has to accept the new version of you. But if they want to be your friend or someone, significant to you, then they would have to accept that new person.
Yeah. And even then, like they really don't, right? They can tolerate it, right? They don't necessarily have to accept it, right? Because the only one that you need to focus on is you. Yeah. Right? You don't need to focus on anyone else, right? You're not their problem, right? You are your own problem. You have things that you want to do. You said you wanted to do things. You didn't tell them that you wanted them to do things, right? Yeah. So of course they're not always going to accept or understand what you're doing, right? But of course, through conversations, through get-togethers, whatever that is, they can at least tolerate it. They can kind of understand what you're moving towards. So like, when you say you're going to go study, right, then they won't bother you with however many texts or calls that you need to go party, right? Because they know that you're working towards something, and that studying is what you're actually using as a habit to work towards that, whether that's education, whether that's a career, whatever that is.
All right, well, guess we'll move on down to our frugal and cheap segment. Tell me, we got to get us some music for this or something, man. Like, something crazy. But this week is cutting your own hair.
Frugally cheap, man.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think that one's more. Now, I guess if you did it terribly, it's probably being cheap. But if you do pretty good, because I cut my hair a lot, especially because of the military. Like if how it used to be, like Monday morning, you got to have a fresh cut, right?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So and if I didn't make it to the barbershop on that weekend, I'll cut my own hair. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I got to a point where I just especially because of COVID, I didn't go to the barbershop, cut my own hair. I mean, I did it pretty decent anyway, because I just, did an even cut, line up, and then, went on my way. So I could say that's more on the frugal side. Now, if I was doing it crappy and I was like, I'm trying to save this money, might be pretty cheap.
Yeah. And we kind of go through it each time each topic is intention, right? Yeah. What is the intention of you cutting your own hair? And honestly, I was trying to be cheap when I was cutting my hair. And the reason why I was saying cheap is because I didn't actually know how to cut hair, right? I had no idea. I couldn't cut anyone else's hair. I couldn't cut my own hair, right? So when I did it, I had no guard on the damn razor, right? And I ended up cutting my ear, right? Because I'm also like incredibly bad at coordination, that when I was cutting, I was trying to go up, but I went down and I went into like towards my ear and I cut it and it just started like bleeding like a lot. And I wasn't trying to do like anything like fancy. I was just trying to like line it up to where like my hair wasn't touching my ear, so I didn't have to get like a whole new haircut. But then after I started bleeding, I was like, yep, never mind, going back to the barber. This isn't happening.
Well, you should have avoided it anyway, because if you call your clippers a razor, So
dude, I don't know the difference.
You can tell. No, because I would watch the barbers, like the different type of clippers that they have to like edge up. They'll have something to edge up. They have something to like they'll put a guard on and like lower your hair. They have all the different ones and your different guards to blend, and so like that stuff I started paying attention to, especially like my son actually likes me to cut his hair, but now me and him go to the barbershop. That's kind of like our time together anyway.
Yeah. Father-son time.
Yeah, we go hang out.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, no. Oh man. I'm okay. I'll give you the frugal part, man, but yeah. No, I will say I didn't know the difference. I still don't know the difference between razors and clippers or
but that's why that's why I would think that you probably shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, you should definitely go to.
That's just like with IT, right? If you don't know what a Cat 5, Cat 6, or RJ45, you're like, you probably.
You're not fit for this. Get out of here.
Yeah. All right, man. Did you wanna do it? Get us out of here?
Yeah. This is Jay and Craig signing off the Troubleshooting Life podcast. We'll see you next week.
All right, see you next week. Also, please like and subscribe our content. I mean, we love doing it anyway. So please like and subscribe. Thank you.